Welcome to our first Autistic Pride Day celebration. Thank you guys so much for coming. It's like really meaningful that you guys join us here today. This celebration is supposed to highlight the autistic community. It's completely led by autistic people, all of our artists, our volunteers, organizers, everything, everyone's autistic. It's amazing you're here to celebrate neurodivergence, and friends and family, thank you for being here. On Father's Day as well. Do you have any fathers here? Any dads? Yeah, clap for the dads, everyone. Thank you for being here on Father's Day. Also, Juneteenth weekend. It's just a really eventful weekend, so thank you guys for being here. But yeah, like I said, everything's put together by autistic people. We had a call for artists, speakers, other creatives to be involved in this event. The goal was to kind of celebrate the diversity, creativity, and excellence within our community. And rather than just talk about it, we wanted to show it. So all the artwork here is made by autistic artists. We have a huge range of works. We have some people are self-taught, some people studied art in school. Lots of different styles here. Their name and contact information is around their artwork if you want to look at their website, look at their artwork online. Later in the event, we're going to have some really talented musicians come play, all autistic. After I speak, we're going to have some people read poetry, speeches that they wrote as well. I've personally been super excited for this event. It's great to see you all here today. We have a ton of stuff that I've been, getting for this event. We have STEM toys, bracelets, pins, fans. Everything's free. Everything's for y'all. It's for the community. And this event was not funded by a corporation. This is funded by you guys here. So we had a lot of people donate. Thank you guys so much for contributing and helping put together this event. Thank you to the volunteers back there. Round of applause for our volunteers. We want to make sure everyone's comfortable, has their needs addressed. So we have earplugs back there if you get overstimulated. Of course, you have the quiet area, that park back there if you want to sit and take a break. And if you need a restroom, there's like 2 public restrooms at Columbus Park, which is a block away. So, who am I? If you don't know me, my name is Nicole. I live in Brooklyn. I was formally diagnosed with autism about 2 years ago. I run Autistic Adults NYC. We're a community group of autistic people around the New York City area. So I started the group about a year ago. I just finished grad school, did not have any close friends. I was newly diagnosed autistic in like the craziest city I've ever been to. Being here is such an insane experience. The reason I got diagnosed was because I was moving from living in the suburbs in Texas to living in an apartment in Bushwick with 2 strangers, with my window right next to the elevated M train line, which, autistic or not, is just hell. I was not enjoying my experience in Bushwick. In fact, I've never felt so distressed in my life. I was just feeling constant sensory overload every single time I went outside. My routine, everything I was used to, was flipped around. I didn't have any friends or support structure in the city, which is exceptionally difficult to establish as being autistic. After having like constant meltdowns, a therapist suggested I get a diagnosis, and I went from having no clue to what autism is besides just some terrible representation on TV to getting a life-changing diagnosis and having so many questions that I've had about myself answered. It was a really great experience, and I also discovered that my story wasn't really unique. Even though I've been in and out of therapy and psychiatry in the hospital since I was 16, a lot of women, a lot of people of color are often misdiagnosed for several years. There are many late diagnosed autistics out there, especially people who don't fit the stereotype of what people think we're supposed to look like. I also discovered there's a ton of autistic people living here in the city, people who were born here, people who grew up here, live an incredible life here. So I wanted to find community, figure out how autistic people survive in this city, and figure out how to do things like find a job, make friends, and just get used to everything. So I started Autistic Adults NYC. We're a group of people from all backgrounds, young adults, older adults, people from all cultures that make up this city, people with varying support needs, diagnosed at a young age, to people just newly discovering they're autistic. We do social meetups, we go to parks, have game nights, parties, karaoke. We also host workshops, so on different topics like careers and independent living. It's been an amazing year. We grew from nothing to having now over, I think, 500 members, many of whom are here today. So, thank you guys. I've learned so much from y'all. And my experience living here has changed so much. I went from living in an apartment with 2 strangers in Bushwick to now living in an apartment with 4 strangers in Bushwick. But, I went from hating it and having constant meltdowns to feeling at home here, and that is 100% due to all of you guys and all of the friends I've made. So thank you again. And if you're autistic and you want to join our group, you can talk to me, talk to one of our volunteers, anyone else here is in our group. We're open to all autistic adults, so please reach out. So why are we here? What is Autistic Pride Day? What does the phrase Autistic Pride mean? Because I know for a lot of people, both autistic people, neurotypical people, which just means not autistic, it's sort of a difficult concept to fully grasp. Why should I feel proud of being autistic? And what is being proud to be autistic supposed to look like? I know that not everyone feels pride when you're sitting in fetal position in a public bathroom stall because you're about to have a meltdown from how bright the fluorescent lights are, to how loud everyone seems to be talking, to how the air is giving you weird vibes that day. You're not feeling proud to be autistic, and trust me, I know. Or when the store runs out of your favorite microwavable pot pie and your entire day is ruined and you'd rather starve than to eat anything else. You definitely wish you could have a normal brain. Or when you're on the C train and you zone out and then somehow the train says F and you're in Red Hook, which is an hour away from Bushwick. You wish you could just focus on the world like everyone else and not have to zone out and completely dissociate because you can't handle it. So everyone's experience being autistic varies. We are a very diverse community with the way that autism affects us varying drastically. Some of us have higher support needs, have trouble communicating, and autism can just feel like a hindrance to connect with people and have a happy life in general. You might cringe at the phrase Autistic Pride and wish that you were anything other than autistic. You might think the phrase is diminishing and devaluing of the reality you face. So for some people, you don't really think about the fact that you're autistic until you're at events like this. You go about your days and maybe you're faced with it when a coworker makes some sarcastic remark that went way over your head. The phrase Autistic Pride can mean as little as any other aspect to yourself, so saying like you're proud to have brown hair or something. It just doesn't really make that much sense to you. It's just one of those facts you don't think about too much. Well, pride isn't about ignoring the struggles that we go through. Pride is not saying that if you don't feel proud of who you are, you're hurting the community or doing something wrong. Pride is not something you have to feel every day or something that if you're not feeling, you're a self-hating person. I think understanding the meaning of pride takes first understanding why Autistic Pride started, why pride movements started in the first place, like the LGBTQ pride movement or any other liberation movement. And second, it takes a full reframing of the understanding of the definition of the word pride and a practice towards feeling pride of who you are. So the Autistic Pride movement and Autistic Rights movement began as a response to the social narratives and perceptions surrounding autism. It was a challenge to the medical model that views autism as a deficit and promoted a more empowering understanding of autism. It embraced the differences that make us who we are, aims to redefine autism as a variation of the human brain rather than a condition that needs to be fixed or cured. There are also ties to the disability rights movement and drew inspiration from principles of self-advocacy, inclusion, and equal rights. It aims to dismantle ableist attitudes and practices in our society. The movement promotes autonomy, self-determination, and lets us have our own voice and make our own decisions. It protects our legal rights and policies that protect our well-being. It encourages society to value the importance of neurodiversity and how neurodiversity strengthens society in general. Autistic people have played a crucial role in shaping the movement's direction, and that's important. Autistic people, not their parents, not their doctors, but autistic people advocating for themselves. And this brings me to the importance of Autistic Pride Day, which unlike some other autistic holidays, Autistic Pride Day was started by autistics. It started in 2005 by Aspies for Freedom, a group dedicated to raising awareness of the autistic rights movement. 2005, so around 18 years ago. 18 years ago when autism spectrum disorder wasn't even a diagnosis, and the community was separated between autistic disorder, Asperger's disorder, other developmental disabilities. 18 years ago, when finding a cure for autism was all over the news, all over the Autism Speaks website. 18 years ago, when autistic people were subjected to torturous therapies and treatments. Maybe it seems like a while ago, but maybe you'd be surprised to know that one of those things is still going on today. Electric shocks are still being used to punish the autistic residents at the Judge Rottenberg Center in Massachusetts. Also, Autism Speak removed the cure stuff in 2016 and still doesn't really speak for autistics, and how could they when they only have one autistic person on their board? ASD was added to the DSM-5, which was very much an improvement, but women, queer people, low-income folks, really anyone who's not a child, still struggles to be recognized as autistic by professionals and get a diagnosis. Diagnosis can cost thousands of dollars. Many places don't take insurance. Many plans don't cover it. Many people are placed on a year-long waiting list. Many don't work with adults. There is still active campaigning against trans autistic people, with many states proposing legislation that questions whether or not autistic youth should be able to access gender-affirming care. People still think that because you can't speak, or because you're intellectually disabled, your thoughts and opinions aren't important, even when they pertain to yourself. Autism or autistic is still used as a slur. Our legislators don't want to hear us. Much of the public still sees us as incapable of making decisions for ourselves. There are so many struggles going on within our community, and our community is still very much fighting. I spend a lot of time talking to you guys, and I'm constantly hearing stories about being mistreated in the workplace, getting fired for not keeping up, hearing ableist remarks from strangers or even family and friends. I hear people being told they don't look autistic and denied care from their doctors and therapists. I hear people being not listened to, being infantilized, being denied agency over their own care. Society isn't going to just change. People aren't going to wake up one day and understand that our struggles and stop being ableist. Society will not listen to our voices if they don't think we have the agency to speak for ourselves. Autistic Pride is showing that we're not trying to change ourselves. We're not trying to be cured. We want accommodations. We want acceptance from society. And this change comes from us. Just like any other liberation movement, change doesn't happen overnight. So we look to other movements, we draw from history. Autistic Pride was actually modeled on the LGBTQ Pride movement. And if you're involved with our community or in Pride in any way, you can probably see why. Our communities overlap in a lot of ways. Transgender and non-binary people are up to 6 times more likely to be autistic, and I'm sure we have a lot of queer representation here today. Many of the struggles that LGBTQ people face, we're facing today, like gay or queer being classified as a mental illness or disease, the word gay being used as an insult, gay people being put through conversion therapy or trying to be cured. There are similar goals to LGBTQ Pride and Autistic Pride. One of the main connections is recognition of diversity, sexual orientations, gender and identities, and emphasizing the importance of embracing and accepting individuals for who they are. Autistic Pride promotes the acceptance and celebration of neurodiversity. It highlights the wide spectrum of cognitive variations and affirms the value of each individual. Both movements challenge societal norms and stereotypes. LGBTQ Pride challenges heteronormativity and the assumption that being cisgender and heterosexual is the only valid expression of sexuality and gender. Autistic Pride challenges the medical model that pathologizes autism, perpetuates harmful stereotypes about autistic people. Both movements seek to create more inclusive and accepting societies. Both movements highlight the importance of supportive communities and spaces. If you're queer, you know how important it is to find community, find people who affirm you and make you feel safe. And I know how important it is for me to have community of other autistics to reach out to. Another really important connection is the emphasis of self-advocacy and amplifying marginalized voices. Both communities recognize the power of self-advocacy and the importance of centering the voices and the experiences of those impacted. Straight people are not leading gay pride, but their allies listen to their voices and walk beside them. Neurotypicals won't be standing up here today, but those of you who came, the neurotypicals who came to listen to our voices, to stand beside your friends, siblings, children, partners, are our allies and understand the importance of listening to autistic people. So now I've talked about the Autistic Pride movement, advocacy, how it ties to other movements. So what is Pride? What does Pride look like? What does Pride mean for individuals, so everyone here and all autistic people? Pride isn't always a feeling. Pride can be, and importantly is, an act. Pride is a collection of things you do every day. Pride is what you say and how you respond to people. Pride is something you tell people when they tell you that they're sorry you're autistic or sorry that you have to deal with an autistic child. Pride is making it known that you don't want people to be ashamed of you. You will not accept being infantilized. You're not broken. You don't want to be fixed. Pride is standing up for yourself, advocating for your needs and accommodations in your day-to-day life. The concept of being proud to be autistic or proud to be disabled might seem to conflict with needing accommodations, but they really go hand in hand. There's no shame in needing accommodations, and not being ashamed is what will shift society's perception. It is so essential that we embrace the fact that needing accommodation is not a reflection of weakness. It is a testament to taking care of yourself and living a happy life. By fighting against the shame and embracing accommodations you need, you challenge the narrative around disability. You let people know disability isn't a bad word. You actively contribute to the creation of a more inclusive society that values diversity, that values differences. Being open about our accommodations, you encourage others to feel empowered and get the support they require, which leads to overall more acceptance and understanding in our culture. When we are at our lows, when we need these accommodations, those are moments when pride is the most important. When we're having a meltdown, when we're having a shutdown, when we're struggling to communicate or struggling to be understood, it's not shame, but pride that enables us to get through it. Pride enables us to advocate for ourselves, to let it be known that we need support. When you push aside the stigma, when you connect with your autistic peers, when you accept who you are, when you fight against negative self-image, you can see the beauty in the autistic community. You start to value the person you are and not try to be someone you're not. You see the beauty and importance of seeing the world differently. You can start to see the amazing things the community has created, the amazing diversity all around us. Also, pride is fighting against the societal concept that we need to have some specific value or the dreaded functioning level. People don't need to fix someone's idea of value and contribute to society like a good capitalist. There is value in everyone's existence, and just being a human is valuable. Our worth goes far beyond fitting into these predetermined molds. I know being in New York specifically, there's so much pressure to get the best job or the best apartment, and if you're unemployed, you're doing something wrong. Each one of us are so complex with unique experiences, emotions, perspectives, and we cannot be reduced to our productivity. Our value is found in the relationships we cultivate, the kindness we show, our unique perspectives. It's in the conversations we have, the connections we make, and the impact on the lives we have with those around us. Getting rid of this value and functioning model allows us to prioritize our well-being and our mental health. It invites us to pursue our passions, our special interests, because the world needs us. It needs diversity. It needs people with all types of minds and people with interesting lives. It needs us and all of our very many special interests, whether that's art or math, video games, Pokemon, sock collecting, making a tier list of all the subway lines in the city. I know when I was a kid, I used to collect embroidered napkins, like the ones you get at weddings, because I just thought they felt cool. I'm not sure if the world needed that, but it's a great memory anyways. The world needs people who think differently. Neurodiversity is so powerful, and there is so much value and richness within our brains. But pride isn't just directed towards society. Pride isn't just to show society what we are capable of, or something that is just used in the fight against ableism. Pride isn't only for the sake of neurotypicals, so what else is pride? Pride is a reminder to be kind to yourself. Accept the way your brain reacts to things, accept the way your brain is wired. Pride is a fight against the shame that society tells us that we're supposed to feel. Pride is feeling joy in the amazing community we have. Pride is being proud of what you all here are proud of. The importance of neurodiversity lies so much on its impact in our own personal identity and self-acceptance. It allows us to embrace the parts of us that are different, our strengths, and live a life without feeling pressure to conform to societal norms. Being proud of ourselves and accepting neurodiversity empowers to voice our needs, advocate for accommodations, challenge the barriers that have been put up against us by society. It fights against that negative self-thought. It gives us confidence in our ability to fight against those who shame us. When we feel proud of our artistic identity, we're more likely to assert our rights. We're more likely to actively work towards a more inclusive and accessible world. You will not wake up every morning and feel proud. You're not always going to live a life without the shame that society puts on us, but you can choose to practice pride. You can move yourself towards self-acceptance. You can advocate for yourself. You can take action within your own life. You can choose to ask for accommodations. You can teach others about neurodiversity. You can be here. And finally, at some point, I know many of us are at that point, that action will turn into feeling. At some point, you will be able to confidently say, I am proud to be autistic. Thank you. All right, so I am just one autistic person. Can only speak to myself. I do not speak for all the autistics on the planet. We don't have telepathy, unfortunately. So I invited some other speakers to come up and talk about their lives, read their own poetry, read stories they've written. Some people are very involved with advocacy, some are not. Everyone has their own experience being autistic. Everyone's coming from their own background. So our first speaker is Matthew Zeidman.
Thanks, Nicole. Thanks, everyone, for coming out today for this wonderful Autistic Pride celebration. As Nicole said, my name is Matthew Zeidman, proudly autistic, proudly ADHD. I was going to write something a lot more substantive, but I'm glad I didn't because I don't think I could have followed Nicole's speech. So I'm just going to read this piece about what Autistic Pride means to me. So what is Autistic Pride? Autistic Pride is taking joy in my neurotype and the way in which it allows me to experience the world. Autistic Pride is coming together with my neurokin to celebrate ourselves. Autistic Pride is recognizing that the autistic experience is one of countless variations of the human experience, not one separate from it. Autistic Pride is standing here today and proclaiming my love for myself. And Autistic Pride is the staunch refusal to let anyone tell me that my neurotype makes me lesser than. And we need Autistic Pride to thrive. I need Autistic Pride to thrive. And until I discovered Autistic Pride, I was lost. Now I've found myself and I found my community.
I just want to say thank you all for coming. It's been a pleasure and an honor seeing you all here today at the Autistic Pride Day. Knowing that you all care and that you all understand means a lot to me and my friends and my family, of course. My name is Scott. I'm from Smithtown, New York, located on the core of Long Island, and I'm 35 years old. There are some things I would like to share with you all about myself here today. I was diagnosed when I was 5. I was put in a horrible school I didn't want to be in when I was 6. People at the time told me I couldn't learn how to drive, live on my own, or even work heavy lifting jobs. Well, they were wrong. I've been driving since I was 17. I've been working heavy lifting jobs since then. I've been living in my own place since 2011. I studied how to travel back and forth to and from by public transportation. I studied my way around the city, and I now treat it like my second home. I learned how to get public transportation mapped out and learned how to travel back and forth to and from boroughs of other places in the city. And I did it all on my own to face my fears and my challenges, to know and to study what the city is like and what the people are like. 4 months later, in the year 2012, after I got done playing hockey, I joined the Special Olympics, played 4 different sports, and became a gold medalist. I am a powerlifter, a softball player, a basketball player, and a swimmer. Before that, I learned how to walk on the ice at 12 months old, spent most of my life skating, and began hockey in 1996. Okay. I got a promotion at my job working at FedEx, and I love my job there. I now drive the tuggers, and I love it. Over all that, I work in the middle of the night from 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. in the morning. I'm also a YouTuber. I am an advocate on YouTube for people with disabilities on or off the spectrum. As being on the off the spectrum does not mean that you don't have a disability of some sort. And to give away some understanding and tips of what it's like to be diagnosed a disability to those who don't have disabilities. The name of my YouTube channel is The Autistic Explorer. So one more thing I just want to say to those who have disabilities of all sort: don't lose hope. Hope will always be there with you. Life is too short. Do what makes you happy and what is important to you. Just follow the star in your heart that your conscience provides and guides you within, as I will be there for you all too. Have as much courage, character, and a heart that's true as you can, even if it's a little. You're strong, you're tough, and you know what you want. That's it.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Hello, Hello, everyone. So my name is Felix Guzman. I'm a poet, community organizer, and advocate. I am someone with a facial difference, so there's rarely any representation in the media about that. So I was born with a condition called hemifacial microsomia, which is basically there's some asymmetry and whatnot to my face. So I recently got diagnosed with being on the spectrum at 39. So for a very long time, I was kind of lost in the mental health system because it's easier to get a diagnosis of mental illness than it is to actually get tested for autism and other neurodivergence when you're younger. And so I'm here to raise awareness on the lack of parity for the overdiagnosing of mental illness and the underdiagnosing of autism and other neurodivergences for the Black and brown community, because again, historically there is just very little access, and also the medical industrial complex doesn't hold space in that regard to provide adequate services. So I am someone who is also a suicide survivor. So you can't talk about autism without actually acknowledging that 6 to 7 autistic persons that are autistic are 6 to 7 times more likely to commit suicide. So and that's even a higher number in the Black and brown community. So I realize that's a very somber thing to talk about, but it's very important to note because again, with the current trend to talk about mental illness in the city and all across the country and the world, there should be just as much focus being put on neurodivergence as well. So I'm someone that is coming into themselves and their identity, and also establishing safety, personal and professional. So my goal going forward is to surround myself with kind, genuine, compassionate individuals who just want to live in a world where they can be safe and be free to be themselves, because apparently kindness is a sign of weakness for some people, and in New York City you can't be overly kind. So I commend you all for showing up in this space to kind of own that quality about yourself, and also just to be uniquely you. So I have a poem called Brighter Burns My Light. So it's just about kind of it's an affirmation, but also speaking to like the divinity within oneself. You can also it's just about power, empowerment, self-empowerment, self-love, and just also kind of pushing through and pushing forward when everything seems kind of like against you. So brighter burns my light, so. Brighter burns my light, so. Broken but not forgotten. Alive, I am not a ghost of my past. Provided for as I need, I who have nothing, have as I asked. My yesterday is now an eternity a ways away from how it used to be. I believe you loving and merciful. Blinds never are you with how you love me. Brighter burns my light, so because of you, brighter burns my light, so. Trace your steps through the darkness, I endeavor so always, troubled but not wanting to refuse another their peace. Away you sweep every tear before they stain the pillows of my cheeks. I who have nothing, with the hell of old have made peace. Brighter burns my light, so because of you, brighter burns my light, so. What does it mean to be free? What does it mean to be free? Thank you so much, y'all.
Hello, my name is Jean Francois. I'm a student at Brooklyn College. Let me just say that my younger self will be proud and grateful to be on this earth. This is such a special day, and not a lot of my autistic family would live to see this day. Add being both black and in the LGBTQ plus community to that, and it's especially a challenge, especially being autistic, black, and in the LGBTQ plus community at the same time. Even with the challenges being faced this day, I'm proud to have continued to push forward and at any curveball that the life tries to throw. I am who I am, and I'm proud to be me. I thank my friends, family, and allies for supporting me through this journey, and I'm proud of who I am. Back when I was a kid, I didn't speak and I was nonverbal until I was about 3. My first words were Geico Insurance and then followed by pharmacy, perfectly. I didn't have that many friends due to me communicating differently, and I was also sensitive to sound as well, such as when a toilet would flush, it would scare me, and I would cover my ears back in kindergarten. At some point, I've adjusted to louder noises, and in high school, I've adjusted to larger crowds and communicating with others going into college. And as an autistic person, I've learned to keep track of due dates and what I should keep up with. This month is also Pride Month, and studies show that autistic folks are more likely to be in the LGBTQIA plus community, and I am also bisexual, and I'm proud of myself for who I am. With being both queer and autistic, it feels like a double rainbow, or being queer-autistic, the portmanteau of queer and autistic. The challenges that we face can be facing homophobia in the autism community, as well as ableism in the LGBTQ plus community, and racism within both communities, as well as homophobia and ableism within the black community. We shouldn't tear each other down just because of who we are, and we should uplift each other and be there for each other. I embrace my autism, and being autistic allows me to be creative in many ways, and I'm proud of who I am as a black queer autistic man. You matter more than you think.
Hi everybody, my name is Venkat Ramesh. Yeah, thanks, I'm a little short. And it's an honor and a privilege to be here. Nicole asked if I could participate, and I've selected a poem to read. It's called You Get Proud by Practicing. And the reason why I chose it is because I've had autism all my life, or I am autistic and always have been, and it's been a struggle fitting into society, and I've really found that over the past few years, by practicing certain skills, I've been able to adapt and survive, and also, with the help of people like Nicole, I've been a member of organizations where I can meet like-minded people. So I find that life is a process where I try to get better at just living, and the effort is worth it, even if it's a little bit challenging from day to day. So without further ado, I will read the poem. It's called You Get Proud by Practicing, and it was written in 1991 by Laura Hershey. If you are not proud for who you are, for what you say, for how you look, if every time you stop to think of yourself, you do not see yourself glowing with golden light, do not therefore give up on yourself. You can get proud. You do not need a better body, a purer spirit, or a PhD to be proud. You do not need a lot of money, a handsome boyfriend, or a nice car. You do not need to be able to walk, or see, or hear, or use big complicated words, or do any of the things that you just can't do to be proud. A caseworker cannot make you proud, nor a doctor. You only need more practice. You get proud by practicing. There are many, many ways to get proud. You can try riding a horse, or skiing on one leg, or playing guitar, and do well or not so well, and be glad you tried. Either way. You can show something you've made to someone you respect and be happy with it no matter what they say. You can say what you think, though you know other people do not think the same way, and you can keep saying it even if they tell you you are crazy. You can add your voice all night to the voices of 150 others in a circle around a jailhouse, where your brothers and sisters are being held for blocking buses with no lift, or you can be one of the ones inside the jailhouse knowing of the circle outside. You can speak your love to a friend without fear. You can find someone who will listen to you without judging you or doubting you or being afraid of you, and let you hear yourself perhaps for the first time. These are all ways of getting proud. None of them are easy, but all of them are possible. You can do all of these things, or just one of them again and again. You get proud by practicing. Power makes you proud, and power comes in many fine forms, supple and rich as butterfly wings. It is music when you practice opening your mouth and liking what you hear because it is the sound of your own true voice. It is sunlight when you practice seeing strength and beauty in everyone, including yourself. It is dance when you practice knowing that what you do and the way you do it is the right way for you and can't be called wrong. All these hold more power than weapons or money or lies. All these practices bring power, and power makes you proud. You get proud by practicing. Remember, you weren't the one who made you ashamed, but you are the one who can make you proud. Just practice, practice until you get proud, and once you are proud, keep practicing so you won't forget. You get proud by practicing.
We have one more person.
Sorry for the dramatic entrance, everyone. My name's Crescent. This is a poem about masking. I grew up in a foreign country, and then I was gay and non-binary and autistic, so I kept feeling like there was different things I was hiding and different layers of myself I kept discovering. So this is called I Am Not the Mask. I am not the mask. I am the questions you won't ask. I am the motions of my hand. I am the pacing when I stand. I am the glances past your face. I am the planning just in case. I am the endless list of facts. I am the fear to interact. I am the feelings you don't see. I am not recognized as me. I am attempting to break free. I can't remove the mask with ease. I can't. My mask is not aloof like yours. It raves and weeps until it's sore. It's who you think I am. But now, reveal my vibrant truth. Learn how to love without the need to ask why. Because I am not the mask.